I get a lot of questions from parents about how to get their children to go to school. It is not uncommon for children to experience a lot of stress at school and at some point just say, I'm not going. And what do you do? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's picture it's 7 o'clock in the morning and you're standing in the hallway. You got your child's backpack in one hand and their shoes in the other, and they are planted firmly on the couch, clutching their tablet like it's a life raft and yelling, I'm not going to school. I know that school refusal can make you feel like you're failing as a parent, and the school is often happy to confirm that suspicion. They might tell you your child is just being stubborn, or worse, that you're the problem for not having a backbone, but deep down, you know it's not that simple. Today we're going to dive into what's really behind school refusal. That's the term that's used. It's not my favorite term, but we're going to go with it. And how to decode your child's behavior, and most importantly, how to help without turning your mornings into an emotional wrestling match. Before we dive in further, if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you. And if you're not yet subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing and pressing the like button if you like the video. Let's get into it. So first things first, why does this school refusal happen? It's generally not because your child doesn't want to learn. It's about why they're struggling to get there. And trust me, the reasons are as varied as the snacks your children leave behind in unfortunate places. Let's break it down. One reason might be sensory overload. Just think about it. Think about the school environment. Fluorescent lights, loud bells, crowded hallways with terrible acoustics, and 30 kids all talking at once. It's basically a sensory minefield. For some kids, walking into school every day can feel like walking into a rock concert, except that you have to do math. Second might be issues with transitions and routines. Your child might thrive on routines, and when school changes things like moving from a play-based class to one that's more structured, it can completely throw your child off. Imagine showing up to your favorite yoga class and finding it's been replaced with CrossFit. Yeah, no thanks. A third reason might be relationship issues. Sometimes it's not about the school itself, but about who is at school. A difficult teacher, a teasing classmate, or just feeling different can create a mountain of anxiety. A fourth reason might be fear of failure. For autistic kids, the pressure to get it right can be crushing. If they think they can't succeed at something, whether it's a math problem or making friends, it's easier to avoid the situation entirely. A fifth reason, the comfort of home. Home is a safe zone. If your child feels overwhelmed at school, the lure of the comfy couch, the favorite shows, and zero judgment can be hard to resist. And honestly, who can blame them? It's important to identify these whys because then we can solve for what the issues are, because none of it's resolved if we just force them to go and say, just deal with it, just go. Let's get into decoding the why. School refusal is a symptom, not the problem itself. Your job isn't to force your child to go, it's to get curious. You want to ask yourself, are they overstimulated? Are they anxious about something specific? Are they feeling repeatedly unsuccessful, either academically or socially? Are they burnt out, just done with the grind of school? Sometimes the why isn't obvious. One parent discovered that her 7th grader's refusal was caused by several overlapping issues: academic failures due to poor executive function, low self-esteem, exhaustion, and social isolation. If you had a job that made you feel like that every day, wouldn't you quit too? So what do you do when your child says, I'm not going? Forcing them might work in the short term, but you'll probably get that call to come pick them up when they meet with that distress. It also doesn't solve the underlying problem, and it can cause trust issues, resentment, and even more big emotions that come out in other ways. Also remember that when we're thinking about school as a they go or they don't, we're engaging in the same kind of black and white thinking that our children do. We're falling into their way of thinking. As the adult in the room, we need to think more flexibly. There's so many ways to help our children dip their toes in going to school and build up to full attendance. So instead of forcing, try this. First, validate their feelings. I know you hear that from me a lot, but it is such an important first step in so many situations. Start by saying, I can see that school feels really hard for you right now. Let's figure out why, and then what we can do about that. Listening doesn't mean that you agree with them. They'll feel heard and understood, and that's the first step to problem solving. Second, Offer small wins. Sometimes the pressure to attend a full day is just too much for them. Work with the school to reduce hours or create a manageable schedule. For the 7th grader I mentioned, starting with just 2 hours a few days a week made all the difference. Success breeds confidence, which slowly builds endurance. Now, I know with work schedules, that can be really hard. I get that. But the other thing that's really hard is getting called every day to pick your child up from school. So get creative. Maybe there's a neighbor who can help you out, or maybe there's even a place within school, like in the library, where your child can sit and just chill out and read books, something like that. Just get creative with a way to help them build up to full attendance. A third option is to adjust the environment. Accommodations can help. Some children need noise-canceling headphones. Some children need to skip a particular class that's causing them terrible anxiety. One family told me about how they got an exception for PE. Even though their child needed the movement, their lack of coordination made it so embarrassing for them to be in the PE class, so they made up for the PE in some other way. And fourth is maintain some fun and autonomy. If your child needs a mental health day, don't turn it into a punishment. Let them know it's okay to take a break without feeling bad. And yes, they can still go on a play date. It's not about withholding joy. It's about fostering safety. And you want to keep digging for answers. Sometimes the issues evolve. For the 7th grader, things were fine for weeks until he suddenly refused again. Turns out he was worried that his first period teacher would be mad that he was missing class. A quick conversation with the school counselor resolved the problem. Keep digging. Sometimes the solutions are simpler than you think, but we won't find them if we assume the issue is laziness or stubbornness. Now let's address the elephant in the room. If I don't force them to go, won't they just give up on school entirely? I get it. It's scary to feel like you're giving them too much freedom. But here's the truth. Forcing them through fear or shame might work in the short term, but it could backfire long term. When kids feel safe, supported, and understood, they're more likely to choose to engage. They'll learn how to face challenges, not because they're scared of you or of the school, but because they trust that you have their back. And if patience doesn't work, you can always circle back to forcing them later. Just kidding. Kind of. I know there are parents out there who will hear this and say, no, this isn't going to work. I've tried all those things. But get just one degree, one level more curious, because you have to dig deep to try to find what the issues are. With the 7th grader I'm talking about, it wasn't overnight. It wasn't like we had one conversation and he told us all the issues. It required ongoing conversation, ongoing patience, ongoing willingness to be open to what he was saying, and a willingness to sometimes make bold requests of the school to accommodate this child. Look, success doesn't always look like perfect attendance or straight A's. Sometimes it's about helping your child learn to navigate their own limits, build confidence, one step at a time. For the 7th grader, small adjustments and support led to full participation in just a few months. He built endurance, he got academic support, joined activities, and made friends. It wasn't instant, but it worked. Your child's safety, both physical and emotional, will feed their future success more than any report card ever could. So the next time your child says, I don't want to go, resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Get curious. Ask questions. Work together to find solutions, because school refusal isn't about laziness or defiance, it's about survival. Have you experienced school refusal with your child? If so, I'd love to hear what worked for you. And if you're still having issues, drop it in the comments as well, because we can chat about it there, perhaps give you some additional guidance. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.